Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mohammed Amir. I'm working as a history teacher in Asadam Velkin High Secondary School, Sopor. Today we will be taking class 9th history, chapter 3rd, Nazism and the rise of Hitler. Now, what is Nazism? Nazism is a set of political beliefs and ideas which were held by the Nazi Party of Germany. This idea was started by Adolf Hitler in 1920s and it lasted up till the end of Second World War in 1945. Nazism was an extreme form of nationalism. They believed in dictatorship as well as they believed in the racial superiority. They considered themselves to be the racially superior. They considered themselves as Aryans and they wanted to create a greater Germany. After the Second World War, these Nazis were completely defeated and they had surrendered in front of the Allied forces. These Allied forces were England, France, and Russia. Now, these people knew what was coming for them. So they anticipated the situation, and Hitler thought it better to commit suicide rather than to be caught alive. And he, along with his minister Goebbels and rest of the family members, they committed suicide in their Berlin bunker. Now, what had Nazis done? Nazis had started a genocidal war against the common citizens, killed 6 million Jews, 200,000 gypsies, 1 lakh Polish people, and 70,000 of its own Germans who were physically and mentally disabled. These physically and mentally disabled were considered as undesirables. The Nazis didn't want them to remain in their territory. They couldn't play their part in creating a greater Germany. That's why they needed to be eliminated. These people also devised new techniques to eliminate Jews. They created new concentration camps as well as they created new gas chambers. These people were taken to these gas chambers and they were gassed and were eliminated. After all this horror, an international military tribunal was set up in Nuremberg to prosecute these Nazi war criminals. They sentenced 11 Nazi leaders to death and imprisoned many more leaders. Now it allows us to go to our next segment, which is the birth of Weimar Republic. Weimar Republic was a political body which was framed after First World War. Germany had lost the war. Now, after they were defeated, its leader Kaiser Wilhelm II, he knew what was coming for him, so he abdicated his throne and he fled to Holland. Now there was no political authority in Germany. It allowed different political parties to come together and frame a body which was called as the Weimar Republic. It was framed in the Weimar town. Now this body, alongside with this body, a constitution was also formed. Now this constitution provided immense rights to the president. He was given right to proclaim emergency, as well as a new post was created of a post of chancellor, which was made responsible for the Reichstag or the parliament. This all was done on the basis of adult franchise. Now, after the commencement of First World War, these Germans they were forced to go through humiliations. They had to sign a harsh treaty, which was called as the Treaty of Versailles. It was signed on 28th June 1919. Now, as per the terms of this treaty, Germany lost 13% of its territories. It lost 26% of its coal, as well as it lost 75% of the iron to France, Poland, and Lithuania. Its forces were reduced and they had to pay 6 billion as a war indemnity. The treaty was considered as unjust and humiliating. Now, during this period, there were different political organizations in Germany, like there were communists, there were social democrats, as well as the national socialists or the Nazis. All that these parties wanted was to create a dictatorship. They didn't believe in democracy, they discarded democracy, they discarded the terms of Treaty of Versailles. They wanted to create a dictatorship. They believed Jews for their defeat. Now, the Second World War had an immense impact on the psychology and the economy of people. Europe was turned into a debtor. The infant Weimar was to pay for the sins of the empire. These people who had signed the Treaty of Versailles, they were called as the November criminals by the people because they had devastated the reputation of the Germany as a whole. The common people wanted to take revenge. Now, this war left a deep imprint on the European society. Soldiers were now placed above the civilians. Politicians and publicists they laid stress on the need for men to be aggressive and strong. The media glorified the trench life, the trench in which these soldiers were fighting. But the reality was much way different. These trenches were muddy and these were uncomfortable and the toilets were overflowing. These conditions caused some soldiers to develop medical problems. They were trapped with the rats, corpses, they had to face poisonous gases and enemy shelling. Therefore, situation was not as conducive as was projected in the media. With this, our first segment comes to an end. Thank you.